Okay, guys. So today, uh, yesterday we discussed about the purchase order process, entire process, creation of the purchase order, GR and invoice, along with the charges. Correct. So today we'll again create the purchase order and see the entire flow along with the discounts. Okay. So we'll quickly see this purchase order along with the discounts and then see the discounts posting as well, and then immediately we'll discuss the workflow of the purchase order, guys. Today we'll configure the workflow also. Yeah. All right. See, these are the three purchase orders yesterday we have invoiced. Let's create a PO again. So we'll add an item. Let's say I'm purchasing 10 quantity. I want to order 10 quantity. Let's say unit price is 1000 USD. Apple iPhone. Yeah. And in the purchase order header tab, okay, just click on the tab. So we have something called total discount. Okay. In case if you have already configured the total discount for Apple Incorporation vendor through the trade agreements, automatically system will pick this up. Okay, total discount will be picked up automatically. In case if you are not configured, and in case if you want to manually configure, you can configure the total discount. So what is the total discount? As we discussed, it's a discount on top of the PO, overall PO. Okay. So I'll add one more line item. Let's select the location. Let's say 5 quantity. 300 is $300. So assume that there is no trade agreement configured for the total discount trade agreement configured for this vendor. So what I'll do, I'll apply 3% discount on top of the PO. So Apple is giving 3% discount on top of my overall purchase order value. So I can apply the discount here, just save it. Okay, now if I go and look at the total of the PO, so it gives me total discount 345, 3 which is 3% on top of 11,500. Okay, so charges 230. So 230 automatic charges already applied. That's why just showing charges also. We'll remove the charges for now, just to have a more clarity on the discount posting. Now if you see the total, 11,500. 3% on 11,500, which is 345. Fine. I'm going to confirm this PO. So I'll receive the GRN. Go to receive product receipt. So GRN is a general terminology, guys. Okay, product receipt is dynamic technology for GRN. It's a GRN number, so and so number. Let me register these two numbers, these two items. Sorry. Let me enter the serial number as well here. Confirm registration. Then okay. Okay, so GRN is posted. You can see there's received the status. Then we'll post the invoice. Go to invoice, post the invoice. So assume that I'm going to enter some invoice number as per the invoice. Then enter the invoice date. For example, let's say it's yesterday. My due date also will be calculated based on the invoice date. So posting date is today. Yeah. So match status. I need to update the match status. So currently matching policy is not enabled. Anyways, we'll discuss that as a separate topic for the match status. Okay, so you can see all the values here. So total, you can either see right side here the related information tab, or you can look at this total. Before posting the invoice also, you can have total button. Close it, then post it. So the discount 3% which you entered, it will go and hit a separate GL code once invoice is posted. There is some issue. Okay, its voucher is already posted. It's a known issue, guys. Anyways, when you retry again, it will get posted. Okay, it's posted. So when you refresh, it will go from pending to posted invoices. So we'll go to the invoice and see the posting part, voucher. So if you see discount received, 345 is got credited to discount received, which because it's an income account, If you see, the posting type is vendor invoice account. Okay, so why is this vendor invoice account, and from where this is actually getting picked up? So if you remember, we have discussed something called accounts for automatic posting in the general ledger module.
Yes, Vignesh.
Yeah. So in the general ledger module, if you remember, set up accounts for automatic posting under the posting setup, this one. So vendor invoice discount, we have set up a default account for a posting type. It's called vendor invoice discount type, and the discount received account. Okay, for the same account, it is getting posted in the invoice. Yeah. So that is how discounts will be posted, guys. And the line discount will not get posted, guys. That is also depends. Like in case if company want to post the line discount also to the GLs, it will get posted. And if you don't want to get it posted to a GL code, then that is also fine. So the net amount will get posted. Let's say 1,000 is my unit price, for example. 1% or let's say 5% is a line discount. So 5% on top of 1,000 is 50. So directly, if you don't assign the GL code for the line discount in the item posting profile, directly 950 will get posted to inventory purchase. Okay. In case if you map the GL code in the posting, I'll tell you where it is. Inventory management module under the posting form. So go to purchase order. Here we have discount. So if you map the GL code here, so it will go and post the discount amount, this discount percentage amount, whatever is calculated to that particular GL code. Okay. If you don't map the GL code, system directly calculates 1,000 minus 50, and 950 will get posted to inventory. Okay. If you map the GL code, 1,000 will post to inventory and 50 will post to discount. That is how it will actually act. Okay. No, but normally companies don't follow. Don't post the line discounts in the GLs. Okay, because that is basically calculates before sending the purchase order only within the line only. So that will not basically post it. That is how invoice will get posted, guys. And the remaining invoice part we already discussed yesterday. So that is a quick explanation about the discount part. Now today I will show you the workflow part, guys. Workflow, enabling the workflow to purchase order. So if you see all the purchase orders that we have created, whenever we create the purchase order, the default status, it is coming as approved, correct? So
Yes.
What in other cases wherein it has to go for approvals internally, like let's say my purchase coordinator is preparing, let's say 1 million worth of 1 million value worth of purchase order, or let's say 10 million worth of purchase order, then it has to obviously route through the workflow approvals on like manager, purchase manager or CFO, if required CEO. So these kind of people want to approve. After that only we have to release the purchase order to supplier. So in that case, we can introduce a workflow functionality in the purchase order. Otherwise, what happens? Directly procurement coordinator directly just prepare it and then send it. So you lose the control of it. So normally, in most of the businesses, most of the companies, they will follow the workflow of the purchase order. Okay. So how to enable the workflow first of all? So first of all, to enable the workflow in setup accounts payable, not accounts payable, procurement and sourcing setup, under the setup, procurement and sourcing parameters. So here, activate change management. So there is a checkbox called activate change management. We call this as a toggle buttons. It's not actually a checkbox. Toggle buttons. So activate change management. Just enable this. So workflow will be enabled. That is one thing. Workflow will be enabled, but who are all the people who has to approve on all this? How it will be done? We need to configure the workflow setup, the one which we have created for our general workflow. Remember the same one. Similar way, we have to create the workflow also for the purchase orders. Yeah. So close it. To configure the workflow for purchase orders, procurement and sourcing setup, procurement and sourcing workflows. So you can create a new one. These are all the workflows which are created as of now for under the procurement sourcing workflows. So I'll create a new one for the purchase order. Get new. Purchase order. Which one is the purchase order? I am not able to drag it. Okay, fine. Okay.
Purchase orders. The last but one, yeah.
This is the purchase order lines. Even for line, each line wise also, you can give a workflow, but this is a bit complicated scenario. But most of the companies don't follow this. Overall purchase order wise only they will follow. So we
Last but one, Vignesh. Yeah, last but one.
Yeah. I'm just checking if there is any other one.
Okay. Okay.
This is the one. Actually, it has to allow me. Dragging.
Okay, yeah.
Oh. My unlucky person. Okay, so some of the forms, seriously it irritates me. Some of the forms.
So
Was it? So there is a login. It asks, just login. Remember the password and ID here. I think it goes in OTP too.
yes, for this thing, last the mobile number OTP and all.
Yeah.
Only for this workflow it happens, right?
No, even normal login also it asks.
Okay.
Since we already logged in, and it is asking for the login.
Yeah.
If you're signing out every day in the browser, also here, you're not signing in the tab. That's it. So it's already signed.
Okay.
Pradhi, no? Pradhi అనుకుంటా. Pradhi.
Call. లేదు మీరు నువ్వు చేయటం
నేను చేస్తాను. Hello?
Yeah, actually Prithvi went outside, sir. So, I will call him, sir, just a second.
Okay. నీ పేరేంటి?
నా పేరు వంశీ, సార్.
వంశీ, అచ్చా. నీకు తెలుసా వంశీ ఇది ఐడియా అది?
తెలియదు సార్. ఓకే సార్, నేను కాల్ చేస్తాను సార్.
ఓకే. ఐడియా తెలుసు, బట్ పాస్వర్డ్ నాకు ఐడియా లేదు అనుకుంటా. ఐడియా ఇక్కడే ఉంటుంది మీకు.
ఐడి ఇక్కడ ఉందా?
ఐడి ఇక్కడే ఉంటుంది బేసిక్ గా. ఇదే ఐడి.
ఒకసారి కాపీ చేయండి సార్ చూడండి.
ఐడి కాపీ, బట్ పాస్వర్డ్ నాకు ఐడియా లేదు. బట్ ఓటీపీ వెళ్తుంది, యాక్చువల్లీ పృథ్వీకి ఓటీపీ వెళ్తుంది. పాస్వర్డ్ కూడా పంపినట్టు ఎంత ఉంది ఒకసారి చూస్తా.
ఓటీపీ వచ్చింది.
నేను ఇక్కడ ఏమి వేసుకోను, ఎందుకంటే అవి వేసుకుంటే టీషర్ట్లు అవి వేసుకున్నప్పుడు నేను బెంగళూరులో ఉన్నప్పుడు అవి వేసుకోకపోయినా కూడా ఇక్కడ ఉన్నప్పుడు వేసుకున్నప్పుడు మరి బాల్స్ లాగా విను ఇక్కడ రాకెట్ ఉత్తి చైనా వేసుకున్నారు, బాల్స్ పెట్టుకుంటున్నారు కదా, చాలా కూడా ఉంటారు.
పావని ఓకే 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 పావని's mic is on.
ఓకే గైస్, ఓపెన్ అయింది. సో this workflow, creation of this workflow, configuration of this workflow, everywhere it's the same guys. Any workflow you configure, it's almost 90% of the workflow configuration is same in all the documents. So even for journal or purchase order, it's the same. Only thing is there are some additional tasks and all they will give, which task means nothing but for just a review purpose only. Okay, anyways, just let's not get into that advanced thing. So start element and end. So between that will include approval. So approval element, there are two approval elements guys. One is approver can just only approve, review it and approve it. So in that case we'll have to add this element. You need to drag this like this. Okay, so this is just a review and approve it. So we have another element called approve purchase order, edit the purchase order. See the message, just read down this message when I keep the cursor here. This assigned approver will be able to edit the purchase order. This approval element, purchase approver can see the purchase order and also you can edit it if required. Okay, so these are the two elements that we have. So start, let's say approval element, we are using approval element. Start and end. Okay, approve purchase order is a approval element. I'll double click on that. I'll go inside the step approval element. So I'll see the steps here basically. So if you want to come out, just click on the anywhere on this outside these steps and go to level up. So if you level up, you will come to main page. Okay, fine. So here before going into this approval element, So in the basic setups, just click here on the basic settings. Just write down some submission instructions. Submission instruction means whenever the person is submitting the purchase order, there are some instructions or message that displays to him. Okay, so let's say please verify purchase order and submit for approval. Okay, there are some instructions. That's it. Then go inside the workflow. Workflow approval. So these are called steps. Steps means multiple approval steps. If you want to include in the workflow, you can do it. Let's say, for example, guys, one thing to consider. When I say, for example, every time when I say, for example, it's not just I'm giving an example. I'm just creating an example. It's 100% my client scenario only. Okay, when I say every time, for example, it's my client scenario. So don't think that kind of an example, random example I'm giving. It's my habit basically. So obviously I'll bring up all the client scenarios only while training. So
Okay.
So for example, in our clients, how the steps will be. Let's say purchase coordinator prepares the purchase order. He submits for approval. First, it goes for the procurement manager, okay, or purchase department manager. He approves it. The next it has to go to, for example, let's say CFO, and then CFO approves it, and then it has to go to CEO, and CEO also approves it. So 3 people basically have to approve it. So we'll include 3 steps. So step 1, I can open it, properties. Step 1, I can say, let's say purchase manager. So whenever a purchase order is assigned for my purchase manager for approval, there is a subject required on the action as item. The approval item. So we call it as action item. Okay. So action item. What is a subject for? Work item. We call it as work item. What is a subject for work item? So let's say subject is action required. Purchase order. For example, this is the subject of the purchase order. Purchase order is for your approval. Also, in case if you want to add the purchase order number as well in the subject. So in case if you are enable the email notifications, guys, this subject also will be added as an email subject. Okay, so that is also an advantage of this subject. So I'll add the purchase order also. How will you add the purchase order? It's not a specific purchase order number you can specify here, right? So if you remember, I explained about the placeholders in the last work.
Placeholders.
Yeah. So you can insert the placeholder. Basically, it's a purchase order placeholder. So purchase ID is the name basically.
ఈ వెతుక్కోవడమే ఇంకా అలవాటు
Yeah,
అవ్వాలి.
actually, filterable is actually Microsoft. That is a one big limitation actually here. నాకు బాగా ఇరిటేషన్ వస్తుంది అన్నమాట వెతికేసరికి. తొందరగా దొరకవు అదే ప్రాబ్లం.
ఫీల్డ్స్ అన్నమాట కాబట్టి
సో బేసికల్ డైనమిక్ ఫీల్డ్స్ ఈ ఫీల్డ్స్ ఎక్కడవి అంటే పర్చేజ్ ఆర్డర్ టేబుల్ లోవి. సో బేసిక్ గా పర్చేజ్ ఆర్డర్ ఏవైతే టేబుల్స్ ఉంటాయో ఆ టేబుల్ పర్చేజ్ ఆర్డర్ ఫీల్డ్స్ ఇక్కడ కనిపిస్తాయి మీకు. ఓకే, సో బేసిక్ ఏంటంటే ఎనీ వాల్యూ ఇన్ ద పర్చేజ్ ఆర్డర్ యూ కెన్ యాడ్ ఇట్ యాజ్ అ ప్లేస్ హోల్డర్ అండ్ దెన్ సో దట్ సిస్టమ్ విల్ క్యాప్చర్ దట్ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ డైనమికల్లీ purchase order to purchase order. Purchase ID. Purchase ID. Okay. So purchase order, insert. Okay. So action required, purchase order so and so purchase order number is for your approval. Then message. So message, in case if you want to add a message in this, even in the message normally people includes uh, includes some of the major information about the purchase order. For example, purchase order number, purchase order value, and who is a vendor. So purchase order total value, any discounts you applied, all this basically it gives. They includes the message. So let's say please find below purchase order information and approve. Let's say this is a message instruction, and here, so this subject and then the work item instructions, guys, when you configure the email notification, this is very useful. Okay, so currently we have even done for our existing clients also this email configurations for this workflow. So whenever anybody submits a purchase order, let's say I'm an approver, okay. So someone who is sitting in my purchase department submits a purchase order, it comes to me immediately. System trigger me an system will provide me a link also to come to this purchase order and then verify and then approve it. So we can configure the link also in the message. Fine. So I'll just write down purchase order number, or it will be a bit lengthy. What I'll do is PO number. Okay. So placeholder, I can copy and paste this, guys. I don't want to search it again. Then vendor. Vendor account is there, but I don't want to include the vendor account. I want to include vendor name. And if I say vendor account, the number will be displayed there. Obviously, management or managers don't want to bother about the number. They want to see the name only. Correct? So let's see vendor name. I can get it or not. It will be there definitely. Only worry is to search that. Then all are things line. We can even add workflow originator, which means submitted by whom. Workflow originator means who submitted it, and you can also provide the link to web. So you can also provide the link as well. Okay, on this Dynamics purchase order link also. Vendor group. Okay, guys. For now, I'll just add a vendor account. Okay. You guys just search it and then configure. Okay. So I'll just add vendor account number. Okay. Then PO value, or let's say total value. So we have something called invoice amount. This one, invoice amount. We also have total discount in case if you want to specify the discount and all. Yeah. Fine. So for now, I'll include these three information. Okay. So that is about the basic settings. Title of the approval. For example, you can give any kind of title, guys. Just I'll give a purchase manager. I am giving a purchase manager step. Okay. So then assignment. Assignment is where you will assign the user. So you will go to user and assign the user. Let's say in our case, I'll just assign myself only as admin only. And in case if you want to keep any conditions, you can also keep the conditions as well. Yeah. So similar step, I want to apply it for another one more step. For example, I want to create one more step. So you can copy and paste also. Copy and Control V. It will create one more step, same step with all the information. So you don't need to re-enter the information. Okay. See. Only thing is you can change the name or title and approver. Let's say CFO. Okay, all are there. Completion policy, I'll say single approver. Single approver means only one approver has to approve, not all the approvers. This one also I'll change it. Right, so there are two steps I have configured the workflow, guys. In case if you want to configure the work conditions also, it will go, basically it will work. So for example, what could be the condition in CFO step? It has to go to CFO when the invoice amount is actually more than 1 lakh, for example. So run this step. So in the condition, run the step only when the following condition is met. So run this step. Sorry, guys. So run this step when only the following condition is met. That means this step, approve step, has to apply when this following condition is met only, satisfied only. This following condition is satisfied. So what is the condition? So just add condition, purchase orders. So just search for the field here, which is my invoice amount, correct? In our purchase order total is cross means purchase order invoice amount. Okay, so here purchase orders invoice amount. And here we have greater than, less than, equal to, all this, right? So purchase order invoice amount is greater than, this is what? Greater than, let's say 1 lakh. Okay, so 1 lakh. What I'll do,
వంతు ఒక 10 నిమిషాలు ఆగు.
I'll configure USD.
తర్వాత అమ్మా, ఇప్పుడు కాదు, తర్వాత.
When I run this CFO step, only when purchase order invoice amount or purchase order total greater than 1 lakh. 1 lakh USD. Okay, so close it. Otherwise, it don't run it. Directly approve. Once purchase manager is approves, directly approve it. Okay, so that is what the condition I put. Now let's go to level up. Now let's see if any errors are there. Error pane. So configured all the workflows, so there is no error. Just save and close. Guys, you are clear about the steps and conditions.
Yes, Vignesh, yes.
Yes, Vignesh.
Okay.
Yes, clear.
Okay. So save and close. Guys, one more thing, if you just cancel it right here, it will not save. So be careful when you're saving the setup, okay? So you have to click on save and save, or save and close only. So
Okay.
you can write down some version notes also. Purchase order workflow. Initial workflow. Creation. Setup. Or configured. Okay, in case why these nodes are required, in case tomorrow if you change make any changes for this existing workflow, you can again write down the nodes, like what are all the changes you have done in a new version, so that you can track each version. So that for that purpose. So when you say okay, it will say activate the new version, do not activate the new version. So you can activate it. Even if you do not activate also, system creates the workflow, and later you can go and manually also activate it. So if I just activate it right now, system creates and they activate automatically. Okay. So it takes around 30 seconds to save it.
Vignesh, ఆ కంట్రోల్ మనం ఎట్లా పెట్టుకోవచ్చు అంటే ఓన్లీ ఇన్వాయిస్ అమౌంట్ క్రాసెస్ సో అండ్ సో లైక్ 110 lakhs, దెన్ ఓన్లీ ఇట్ షుడ్ గో ఫర్ అప్రూవల్. అలా 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 ఎక్కడ పెట్టుకోవచ్చు?
ఇప్పుడు
ఇది జస్ట్ వర్క్ ఫ్లో క్రియేషన్ కాదు. ఇప్పుడు ఈ వర్క్ ఫ్లో అనేది ప్రతి పర్చేస్ ఆర్డర్ కి అప్లై కదా, అంటే అప్లై అవుతుంది కదా. అలా కాకుండా నాకు పర్చేజ్ ఆర్డర్ వాల్యూ ఇది దాటితేనే ఇది ఈ వర్క్ ఫ్లో అనే కాన్సెప్ట్ రావాలి, లేకుంటే ఇది
ఇన్ దట్ కేస్ అప్రూవల్ స్టెప్ లో ఫస్ట్ పర్చేజ్ మేనేజర్ పెట్టాం కదా. పర్చేజ్ మేనేజర్ ఫస్ట్ స్టెప్, సిఎఫ్ఓ సెకండ్ స్టెప్. సో ఫస్ట్ స్టెప్ లో నేను పెట్టేయచ్చు రన్ దిస్ స్టెప్ ఓన్లీ వెన్ పర్చేజ్ ఆర్డర్ వాల్యూ ఇస్ క్రాసెస్ మోర్ దాన్ దిస్ ఓన్. సో రెండు స్టెప్స్ కి పెట్టేయచ్చు బేసిక్ గా.
Okay.
But one thing is that you need to submit the purchase order. It will not be automatically coming as approved status. But when you submit, system checks in the back end all the conditions. It will evaluate the condition and checks all the conditions, makes false. Then automatically approves it.
Okay.
Yeah. So now if you refresh in the configurations, you got a new purchase order workflow for my legal entity. Correct? By default, it is set to yes. So it's set to yes means it is active. If you go to versions also, I can see it is active, and I can also see the version notes as well. See here under the comment history, purchase order initial workflow is configured. So comment history, you can see if you create multiple versions here, you can see the version history. I mean basically version notes. Right. So we have enabled the workflow in parameters, and we have configured the workflow in workflow setup. Now let's create a purchase order, guys. So go to accounts payable, purchase orders, all purchase orders. So click new. Let's say Apple. We'll select the warehouse, so site will be automatically selected. So I'm going to select Apple iPods. Let's say 100. Sorry, 100 quantity, and 300 is the unit price. So total I have 30,000 for this particular line. I will take another line. Let's say 50 quantity. 1000 is the value. So total it will become 50,000. So total value of the purchase order is 80,000. Correct? It is not crossed to. It is not crossed to 100,000. So if you go to workflow, see if you see there is a workflow button enabled right now, and if you see under the purchase tab, the confirm button is not enabled because it is not approved yet. Earlier, as soon as you create the purchase order, it will get on the have approved status, and these buttons are enabled. Now, if you see the status of purchase order is draft, even if you close this also, you can notice here. See, it is not approved. Earlier, when you create a purchase order, by default, it will get approved because there is no workflow that time. So, since now we have enabled the workflow draft status, okay. So, workflow button also is enabled. Now, just if you want to submit this purchase order for approvals, click on workflow. See, here please verify the purchase order and then submit for the approval. The message that we have written for the submission instructions, it is displaying here. Okay, so this is called message bar. Just submit it. So you can write down the comments also. Please approve this purchase order. This is urgent. This is for a customer order on urgent basis. Some text, some comments. So it's approver can see your comments and then approve. If you want to specify more information before submitting, submit. Fine. So now let's go to workflow history. So if you see the status of purchase order is in review now. Okay. Workflow history to see the history what is happening. So this is the instance, and each workflow submission we call it as instance. Each workflow submission is a workflow instance, and then this is a workflow ID. So if you say if you look at the workflow configuration, what we have done. So the workflow configuration ID number. Okay, it's basically number of the workflow configuration. So this is what the workflow we configure. 424 is the number. So it is taking 424. How it is taking 424 automatically? Whichever is the active one, and then whichever is set it as default. See, you can configure purchase order workflows, multiple purchase order workflows here, but only one can be set it as default. So the default one only will be picked automatically. Okay. And what are the conditions, approvals, all they are configured in this particular workflow, it will take that only. Right. So it shows the status also pending. So there are multiple tabs, guys, here. Multiple tabs here in the workflow history. Tracking details list, tracking details, work items. Tracking details list is basically all the almost this tracking details list and tracking details gives the same information, but this gives you a bit more elaborated information. But I personally like to have this only. Tracking details tab only, because I feel very comfortable in this particular tab. Right, just refresh it. See, if you see the tracking details list, it is evaluating multiple conditions and all this. See, it is first of all is the submission, who is submitted, and what is the comment they wrote, what is the created date and time. Okay, submitted by these guys. Please approve. Then creation of purchase order approval work item. It is created here. So there is unnecessarily unwanted lot of information it creates actually, but I would like to see always this tab only. See, if this is where, if you see workflow activated, see workflow is activated when submitted by Alia, which is by me. Purchase comment, what is the comment that I wrote? Please approve this purchase order as this for a customer on urgent basis. Then approval is started here. Approval is started, so and so time, step created, and work item created. Work item means an approval work item to the approver. So assigned to Alia. So in this case, I assign myself only as approver. That's why it is assigned to me only. Okay. And in the work items, this tab, you can see all the approvers list here. Okay. So in case if that particular step there are multiple approvers, all the multiple approvers will display here. Okay. Fine. In this case, I am only the approver. What I'll do, I'll come back, just refresh. When I click on workflow, see, it shows me the message. Please find below purchase order information and approve. And this is what the placeholders that we have configured. PO number is by default automatically picking up. Vendor is automatically picking up. Total value of the purchase order also is automatically picking up. Okay, so I think it's giving me it's giving the PO value in a different currency. But total value of the PO is 80,000, right? 81,600. Okay, charges also are there. Fine. Okay, so I can approve it directly. Yeah, I can approve it or reject it, or I can request change. When I say request change, it will go back to the same initiator, whoever is submitted for the change request, basically to change some information. Delegate means if I'm absent or I'm very busy at my work right now, I don't have much time to verify this purchase order approval, so I'll ask someone to verify it. So I'll delegate this approval action item to different person. Okay, recall means cancellation of this workflow submission, workflow history. So I'm going to approve, guys. Approve. I can also write the comments as well while approving. So you can see the history as well. See, work item is created, approval action taken by Alia. See, approval action is completed. And the status of the purchase order also is still pending. It will get updated in a couple of seconds. So, see here, if you see step purchase, okay, step purchase manager step is completed. Completion of purchase manager step. Then it is evaluating condition as well. CFO step, it is evaluating pre-condition. CFO evaluated to false because it is not falling above 1 lakh. Greater than 1 lakh, it is not falling into that condition. That's why it is actually evaluating as false. Okay, and approval is complete. That's why approval is completed. Same thing you can see here also. So work item is created. Earlier, step completed because work item is approved. Then it is evaluating another condition. Precondition CFO evaluated to false. So CFO step is false because it should not go through the CFO step because it is less than 100,000. Then approval completed. Okay, so that is how it will not check the condition. Otherwise, if in case if the value is more than 100,000, it will go for CFO approval also. Okay, so if you see now, automatically it got approved. Then the remaining is regular process only. confirmation and receiving invoice and all this regular normal process. See, confirm button is enabled now. So as I said, only in the approval status only these buttons will be enabled. Let's create one more purchase order to see the workflow of CFO as well. I'll quickly create it. Let's say 120 quantity, unit price let's say 1000 USD. So I totally I have 120,000 is my purchase order value. Okay, let me go and submit it. Workflow, submit. I'm not writing any comments this time, just submit. So I'll go to workflow history and check what is happening. So it takes 30 seconds to 1 minute, or sometimes it takes 2 minutes to create the work items and all. Because there is a bad job running in the behind to create all this. So for now, it is in the training just only one purchase order, but when implement the business, when you're implementing the dynamics to the client, in the client they might be having so many workflows, not only purchase order, purchase requisition, general journal, accounts payable, accounts invoice, all of them. So people keep submitting on the workflows, right? So the system takes all the workflows together and then creates the work items. So for that purpose, there is a batch job is running behind, right? So it is created. So currently it is created. See, you can see the step name also, guys. Step is created. Purchase manager step is created, and whatever the user that we have assigned in the step, it will show here. Okay, so let me approve it. So I have approved it. Let's see the history. What is happening? So there are multiple scrolls, guys. Here, this scroll is within this tab. Okay, within this particular tab, this scroll. So you need to be very familiar with the form, the navigation, then operating the forms also. This scroll is for entire page, right? See, now if you see. Just refresh. I'll minimize this tab page. So if you see, work item is approved by purchase manager. Step is completed. Then it is created on another step. Why it is created another step? Just check the step precondition evaluation. So precondition CFO evaluated to true. Why it is true? Because the value is more than 100,000, and it has created another work item for the CFO user. So obviously users will be different. In my case, since I'm operating with only one user already, I send myself only in all the approvals. But normally users will be different. Yeah. So here if you see, one guy purchaser is approved, completed, and other one is pending still. Yeah.
Okay.
So in this case, I am the only one who has, and then I am CFO also here. So I will go to workflow. Approve. Once I approve, it will get automatically approved. Currently, if you see confirm button, confirmation, nothing is enabled, even product receipt. Okay. Let me wait. Let it get approved. Done. Okay, so approval is done, and then your confirmation and confirm buttons are enabled now. Okay. So that's it, guys. So that's it for today from my side. And tomorrow we'll discuss the three-way matching policy. Let's see. So if you
Okay.
guys have any doubts, clarifications required, just let me know. Any
And
doubts,
no,
guys?
no, this workflow thing already have done in general ledger models, so we are familiar with it.
Correct. Correct.
Yeah.
So it's almost same actually. Workflow configuration is almost same everywhere in the system. Okay. So only there are some
Yeah.
like 10-15% differences there.
Yes, yes.
Others?
But for this workflow to practice for us, we need
Mhm.
that mobile number OTP thing, right? Yeah.
No. See, that is a login configuration that these guys configure, like Prudvi and these guys. Login access.
Okay.
Yeah, that mobile access and all is not required. You just need to enter the ID and password. Outlook ID and password. That's
Okay.
it.
Okay.
So Hari, you're clear,
No
right?
doubts in this class, I guess.
Okay, great. Right, guys. So see you then tomorrow. Yeah. Bye bye.
Okay, Dinesh.
Bye, Vikesh. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. All right. Bye.
Okay.